After seeing a record surge in deaths from the coronavirus outbreak, Italy ordered non-essential factories to shut down. Follow DW's Live Ticker for the global death toll from the coronavirus pandemic has surpassed 11,000 people with more than 286. Many governments have closed borders and passed emergency funds to ensure that businesses do not crumble under pressure. President Macron has urged citizens to stay at home and closed France's borders while Germany's social life grinds to a halt. DW has the late 4:32 Sri Lanka has detained nearly 300 people for breaking a curfew imposed by the country to control the coronavirus out. Police said 291 people were detained for being on the streets after the curfew, which started on Friday and will be lifted Tuesday. The country has adopted a range of strict measures as the number of confirmed cases rises to 414. Japan has confirmed 2 new COVID-19 cases at a medical center that had earlier reported 12 coronavirus infections. After 2 more nurses tested positive for the virus at the Oita Medical Center, the facility is being looked at as a suspect. Diagnostic tests are being conducted for close to 600 patients and staff members. The country recorded 1,055 cases of domestically transmitted coronavirus on Sunday. This does not include the 712 cases for people were aboard a cruise ship moored near Tokyo. 353 Ecuador reported 532 confirmed coronavirus cases and 7 deaths, prompting the country's health and labor ministers to resign. On 351 Colombia recorded its first coronavirus-related death on Saturday, the health ministry has confirmed. Infected. Nearly 1 billion people around the world were confined to their homes as countries and regions restrict movement. Italy had ordered all non-essential production to shut down in what the Prime Minister called the country's gravest crisis since World War II. A 58-year-old man working as a taxi driver was the country's first coronavirus casualty. 348 El Salvador's president, Nayib Bukele, imposed a 30-day curfew in the Central American country late Saturday. 340 Singapore has restricted the entry of all short-term visitors starting the end of the day on Monday. No visitors will be allowed to transit or enter the city-state once the ban comes into. Only work pass holders who are involved in the provision of essential services will be allowed to return or enter. The country has reported 432 coronavirus cases, almost 80 of which were in port. 326 The government of Hong Kong urged citizens to practice social distancing amidst a rising number of coronavirus cases in most of the 274 confirmed COVID-19 cases in the territory are either imported or those who have been in touch with people who have recently traveled. The Center for Health Protection, CHP, asks citizens to maintain an appropriate social distance with other people and cut down on going out or engaging in social activities. In view of the proliferation of the disease and continuous increase in the number of cases reported around the world, updates in Universal Coordinated Time, UC/GMT 04:48 Spain has ramped up its efforts to contain the coronavirus. Members of the public are strongly urged to avoid all non-essential travel outside Hong Kong, a spokesperson said. 225 Everyone traveling to Hawaii will be subject to a 14-day quarantine starting Thursday, the state's governor said on Saturday. The state currently has 48 confirmed coronavirus cases. We need to come together as a community to fight this virus, Governor David Ige said. This mandate is the first of its kind in the nation. We want this action to send the message to visitors and residents alike that we appreciate their love for Hawaii, but we are asking them to postpone. As of Thursday, travelers arriving on Hawaii will face a 2-week quarantine. 02:12 The Philippines reported 73 new coronavirus cases, bringing the total number of confirmed infections in the country to 380. The death toll stands at 25, with 6 more deaths reported by the health. 206 Amazon on Saturday announced a raise in overtime pay for employees working in the internet company's warehouses. The raise comes as the online retail giant tries to meet the shopping demand from customers who are at home because of widespread lockdowns put in place to combat the spread of the corona, mobilizing health workers and setting up emergency field hospitals. As the country reported 24,926 confirmed cases and 1,326 deaths. The employees will get double pay, up from 1.5 times, after 40 hours of overtime for the period of time between March 15 and May 9. This is the second increase in pay for Amazon workers after the company increased the minimum hourly rate for associates to $17 from $15 early. 152 India has begun its 14-hour curfew to combat the spread of COVID-19. The curfew has been imposed from 7 a.m. local time, until 9 p.m. Many modes of public transport were suspended, as Prime Minister Narendra Modi urged citizens to stay indoors and stay. 145 North Korea on Saturday said that it received a letter from U.S. President Donald Trump, in which the president praised North Korean leader Kim Jong-un for his efforts to defend his people from coronavirus. A senior official from the Trump administration confirmed to Reuters news agency that a letter had. North Korea said the letter was indicative of the special and very firm personal relations shared by the leader, adding that Trump had expressed his intent to render cooperation in the anti. This comes soon after North Korea launched 2 short-range missiles earlier on Saturday. We must prepare ourselves emotionally and psychologically for very hard days ahead, Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez said in a televised. 132 Mexico reported 251 confirmed cases of coronavirus in the country on Saturday, up by 48 infections from the country has created a comic superhero to remind people to observe social distancing guidelines. 130 South Korea reported 98 new COVID-19 cases on Sunday, increasing the total number of coronavirus infections in the country to 8,897. While there was a small bump in the number since Saturday, the overall downward trend continued. 120 Walt Disney will delay the launch of its streaming service, Disney Plus, in France by 2 weeks. The decision was taken at the request of the Disney Plus will be launched in other major European markets on March 2, but the quality of video offered will be degraded to ensure the smooth functioning of the broadband. The company plans to lower overall bandwidth utilization by at least 25 at the time of the launch. 105 Coronavirus tests for U.S. Vice President Mike Pence and his wife, Karen, have come back negative, the VP's press secretary. Both were tested for COVID-19 after a member of Pence's staff tested positive for the virus earlier. As the country mobilized close to 52,000 health workers, including retired doctors and nurses. 052 Australian Prime Minister Scott Morrison may announce the second economic rescue package for the country on Saturday amid coronavirus fears. With a value of 66 million Australian dollars, 35 million euros, $38.2 billion, this economic stimulus package is not expected to be the last. We want to help businesses keep going as best they can or to pause instead of falling apart, told the Sun Herald News. We want to ensure that when this crisis has passed, Australia can bounce back. There's a lot of pain coming, but we're going to cushion the blow as best we can. The package is aimed at allowing small businesses to stay afloat, with Australian dollars being transferred to such enterprises so that they can keep their staff and not pack up. The PM also added that the country may also look at implementing draconian measures to ensure social distancing during this health. 040 Mainland China reported 46 new cases of the coronavirus on Saturday, 45 of which were imported. 6 deaths were reported. China's Hubei province, which has been the COVID-19 epicenter in China, reported no new cases of infection on Saturday. 5 deaths were reported in the province. 022 The U.S. Food and Drug Administration, FDA approved the first rapid coronavirus test on Saturday. The new test has a detection time of approximately 45 minutes. Madrid prepared a field hospital for coronavirus patients in the capital. 4:46 Close to 1 billion people were confined to their homes on Sunday. Currently, getting results can take days, as these samples are sent to a centralized lab. As the U.S. attempts to meet the increasing demand for testing, the new diagnostic test has been developed by Cepheid, a California-based molecular diagnostics company. It will be shipped to hospitals and emergency rooms starting next week, the company said on Facebook, Twitter, Google+, WhatsApp, Tumblr, LinkedIn, StumbleDig, Reddit, Newsbeam, permalink.d.com/p.d.com/p/3zgzvoo:12 Panama recorded 2 more coronavirus-related deaths on Saturday, bringing total number of fatalities to 3. The Central American country has 245 confirmed cases of COVID-19. 09 UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson has said that it could take just 2 weeks for the country's National Health Service, NHS, to be overwhelmed by the COVID-19 pandemic. Like the Italian healthcare system, the death toll in the UK had 233 on Saturday after 53 people died after being in. Unless we act together, unless we make the heroic and collective national effort to slow the spread, then it is all too likely that our own NHS will be similarly overwhelmed. As the COVID-19 death toll crossed 13,000, he was reported saying in multiple Sunday newspapers, as he called on citizens to stay home as much as possible. The Italians have a superb healthcare system. And their doctors and nurses have been completely overwhelmed by the demand. Johnson. 07 The Gaza Strip announced its first 2 cases of COVID-19 on the Palestinian Health Ministry said both people had recently traveled from Pakistan and were currently in isolation at a medical facility in the southern city of Rafah. This has raised new fears about the spread of pandemic in the Strip, where the healthcare system is trying to contain the threat of COVID-19 despite the Israeli-Egyptian. 05 After closing Sydney's Bondi Beach to tourists, 11 beaches south of Bondi were also closed on Sunday in line with Australia's social distancing decree. The country has banned gatherings of over 500 people and asked everyone to maintain a 1.5-meter distance from each other to avoid the spread of corona. Bondi Beach in Sydney was closed after people failed to follow social distancing rules. 02 Italian Prime Minister Giuseppe Conte on Saturday ordered a nationwide closure of all non-essential factories and companies, and the decision taken by the government is to close down all productive activity throughout the territory that is not strictly necessary. Over 300,000 coronavirus cases have been reported worldwide. Lockdowns have been enforced in 35 countries around the world, a day after Italy's death toll rose sharply to 4,000. Crucial, indispensable, to guarantee us essential goods and services, he said on TV. Essentials like groceries and pharmacies will stay open, as will postal and banking services, he stressed, adding that the country is living through its gravest crisis since we are slowing down the country's production engine, but we are not stopping it, Conte said. Italy reported close to 800 coronavirus-related deaths on Saturday, taking the death toll to 4,825. The total number of infections rose by 4,800 to 53,507. Since Facebook, Twitter, Google+, WhatsApp, Tumblr, LinkedIn, StumbleDig, Reddit, Newsfeed, permalink:/p.d.com/p/3zqmn00:00. Catch up on yesterday's coronavirus development here. Italy suffers through highest daily death toll. Z/SMS, AP, Reuters, TPA, AFP. The German government is considering tougher measures to slow the spread of the corona. While 2 states have already ordered people to stay home, Berliners are still allowed to go outside. But many are afraid that this will change soon. Italy's emergency measures to contain the coronavirus have paralyzed public life in Rome. The quarantining will last until at least April 3. Simone Alva reports on the atmosphere in the Italian capital. Germany and France are implementing unprecedented levels of restrictions.